off, I just
Is that a march for, what's your shirt say?
yes, sir.
March for Our Lives. That's a great organization.
Yeah, I traveled to DC in 2018 and marched at the original one
You're
after the
kidding.
Parkland shooting. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's why I was so excited to meet with you, because gun violence and gun violence in this country is one of my biggest issues that, ever since I was in high school and started to become afraid of shootings. And so, yeah, I'm just excited about this, and watching this short film was honestly crazy and life-changing. So I just want to say so much respect to you for attaching yourself to a project like this.
Thank you, Grant. Thanks.
Of
I'm
course.
impressed with what you're doing, and that you were at that historic moment. That was like one of those moments that gives you hope,
Yeah, I mean, I got so much motivation out of that, just traveling the country, just to be around a lot of like-minded people, because I'm from Missouri, so it's very different there. And yeah, it was just really inspirational to go out there and see all these people really just want change.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Amazing.
so I guess my first question is, how did you originally get connected to this story? Because it's such a unique story that I feel like, I don't know, not a lot of people would see as the potential of connecting with audiences, but I guess you saw something in it. So I'm curious what you saw in working with Lou and Steve on this.
Yeah, well, so I've been making films for a long time, largely about social issues, and with the hope that we can make the world a little bit of a better place.
Mhm.
And about 3 years ago, I got a phone call from Steve Hartman, who's a reporter on CBS on TV. And for those people who watch broadcast TV and CBS News, they know who he is. He's like the good news guy at the end of the broadcast. And anyway, he called me 3 years ago and he said, "Hey, I'm doing this story that's really different from anything I've done before, and it's not my typical beat. It's not good news." And he explained what he was doing. He said he wrote a letter to every single family who's lost a child to a school shooting since Sandy Hook, and that he was asking them if he could come to visit them and with a photographer and take pictures of the empty bedroom that was left in their house when their child was killed in a school shooting. And he explained the project to me, and he showed me a picture that he had gathered from one of the visits, and it was a picture of a toothpaste tube with a cap off. And it was, you could feel the presence of the child who was no longer there, who had rushed off to school without putting the cap on, and thought they were going to come home and do it later, never came home. And I just saw immediately the power in these photos and the possibility of telling the story of school shootings through these empty rooms.
Mm-hmm.
And so I immediately just said, "I think there's a documentary here, Steve." And next thing we knew, we were on the road, traveling around the country, visiting these empty rooms with, using credit cards to pay for the film at that point. But it was, it just felt like something we had to do.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. It's definitely, did you think you were taking a risk on it, or did you truly believe that this had potential when you heard from Steve?
I mean, you never know with a film,
Yeah.
right? It's like, it felt like a risk, but it also felt like a risk worth taking.
Mm-hmm.
That there had to be something here that would resonate with people. There had to be something here that would speak to people and make them feel something. Because I knew that I felt so much from seeing the photos and from going into the rooms. And we thought, well, what if we can give this experience or some version of it to everyone who watches the film? And it just felt like a worthwhile effort to try.
Yeah, and you succeeded. So I'm glad you really got attached to it, truly. I'm curious because you use silence a lot in this film. I know I saw an interview where you said you cut out 6 minutes of dialogue, which I feel like that's a lot, and replaced it with silence. So how do you think that changed or elevated it?
Yeah, I mean, the instinct with film is often to just like fill the space and like use every bit of real estate you have to explain things or talk or use the material that you have. And that's what we did initially. And then we looked at the film, it was 34 minutes long. And we kind of had this realization that like it was too much talking for a film that's about absence,
Hmm.
and a film that's kind of about silence, because these rooms are don't have, there's no one there anymore. So we took the 34-minute cut and we started taking out um, talking and dialogue, and just after a couple of days, I think we had cut 6 minutes of dialogue out, and but we left the film at 34 minutes. So it was, so essentially we added 6 minutes of silence to the film.
And I
And
thought it spoke volumes, like the silence itself. It really brought you into it and kind of to feel that emotion.
yeah, it brought us closer to what it's like to be in the rooms.
Hmm.
And which is what we want people to feel. We want people to feel what it's like to be in these rooms and to sort of meet these children through the belongings that are left behind, and to feel the absence, and also to feel the weight of this crisis, because it's a crisis. There's over 100 and something school shootings a year in our country, and not enough is changing to prevent that number from going up.
Nothing is changing, actually. I feel like it is slowly going up. And I think it was mentioned that everyone's getting desensitized and like just forgetting about it each time faster and faster. And I feel like now, especially, it's getting just every day something's happening and on to the next one. So it's
Yeah.
great to see something that is showing us like, oh, this is actually causing real people real problems, like ruining lives, actually.
I mean, that was the idea, is that like all of us feel kind of numb. There was a school shooting last week. There was a school shooting the week before. We don't even remember it anymore. We're numb to it. And it's like, how do you get people to stop and pay attention, and to feel something again, to feel the way you did when you heard about Sandy Hook or Uvalde, or, how did you feel then? And do you feel the same way now when you hear about a school shooting, or has it just become like kind of normal?
I feel like
And
with everything going on, it's very normalized. We're not even knowing the names of the schools anymore.
I know, and that we have to stop that. We have to slow down and really feel something again, because if we're turning away from it, there's no way things are going to change. If we turn toward it, I think there's a chance.
To show the humanity of it all to people. People need to realize this issue. It isn't just about the right to own a gun. It's about the right to live. And I think people forget that,
Mm-hmm.
to have that right.
It's a great way to put it.
But I'm curious because I noticed, I think you said, and I also noticed while watching, that you didn't really use the word gun. Was that an intentional choice? And if so, why?
Yeah, I mean, as we worked on the film, there was a version of it where, when you're in the edit, you're always changing things and trying to find the shape of the film that works best. And there was a point in time where we felt like, well, we need to explore the gun debate, and work it into the story, because this is a film about, at the end of the day, it's a film about gun violence.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a version of the film where you could hear the debate, you could hear the two sides. And as the film got stronger and took more shape, we kind of had this realization, my editors and I, that like, let's just take it out and see what happens. And we took that part out, and we didn't miss it. It wasn't needed. In fact, it was a distraction, because this film is about the children. This film is about the empty rooms. This film is about the absence. The gun debate and gun violence is the context that we all already know. We live it. We see it in the headlines every couple of days.
Mm-hmm.
And we just felt like focusing on the kids made the film more powerful. And it also, I think, by not using the word gun once in the film, we just didn't want to give anyone a reason to turn it off, or to say like, oh, I see what they're getting at, or I don't agree with this, because there's nothing in this film that you can't agree with. This film is Um, in some ways, the case we're making, I think, is unassailable, which is kids are dying needlessly. It's a preventable problem. And we all agree that we want our kids to be safe when they go to school. There's no debate around any of that. So if we set that as a reset, as a starting point, and we start to think about how can we get to a place where we can actually keep our kids safe, we need to start that conversation over, because we're not getting there with the current debate.
Yeah, like well said. We're not getting there at all. So someone needs to do something that's outside of the box, and I think that's exactly what this is doing and what you did, which is great. I think right now parents of children that have been lost to gun violence, or just any advocates in general, are just screaming into a void, and I hate that, because it's probably the most serious issue we deal with. It's one of my like top issues. Anytime I'm looking for a candidate, I'm like, what are your thoughts on gun violence and gun control? Because there's no reason in America that we should be scared to go in public spaces or well enough school. Really think you did a well done job with that. And yeah, the lack of politics, I think, was a great idea. I went into it thinking there would be politics involved, thinking like, both sides, this is what happened, this is what we can do, but rather it was so intentional with showing just the families and the children lost. And I don't know, I just thought it was really great to actually get that, because it's not what I expected at all going into it. And yeah, I think I'm kind of curious, and just what do you think our culture and society in general will get out of seeing the children in their empty rooms?
I mean, our hope is that people will, we get these headlines. A lot of times we don't even read past them now. Headlines about school shootings. My hope is that people, the next time they read about a school shooting, or every time they read about a school shooting, they think about the empty rooms, and that they feel connected to the fact that a child was killed. And I think as long as we're holding that, we're going to be more engaged. We need to be more engaged, because I do think change is possible. And, we've had screenings of the film, almost every screening we've had, where a large part of the audience just raises their hand and says, tell me what to do. What do I need to do? Tell me what to do next, especially young people. We've had screenings with high school students who the whole room stands up and says they're angry, and they say, like, tell us what to do. And at our live screenings, we usually have organizations there representing it who tell them, here's what you can do. Here's the organizations you could get involved with. On our website, All the Empty Rooms website, we have resources and organizations that we're working with. We're working with almost all of them. And, you can find the one that fits you and what you're interested in. But there's so much work that can be done to create change. And I believe, in spending the last couple of years with people who are working in this space, I do believe that change is possible. And it is happening incrementally. I know we said earlier it's not, but it is happening incrementally. And sometimes it's a step forward, sometimes it's a step back, but it is happening. And there are areas where people do agree on all sides. And there are things that are happening, like around safety. For example, Brady is doing work where they're trying to change the way guns are portrayed in movies and TV shows, so that when you see someone with a gun, you also see them put it in a lockbox, when they're done with it, to create these behaviors. I think, there are organizations, or like Northwell Health is trying to normalize with pediatricians asking questions about guns, so that when you go to your pediatrician, they might say, do you have a gun at home? How do you lock it up? How do you keep it safe? Would you like some information on how to do that better? So that it's not about you're taking our guns, or there's too many guns or too few guns. It's about just how do we keep each other safe?
Hmm.
And sadly, that might be the place we have to start, where it's not polarizing and everyone would agree. And the idea that people would lock their guns up and keep them safer, honestly, could save a lot of lives. So we have to start somewhere.
Yeah.
And I do think people, really smart people, are working to find that common ground to at least start things.
Yeah. No, I love that. And I really like the hashtag no more empty rooms.
Mhm.
It was just phenomenal to see each room portrayed. And it's something you don't really think about on the daily. Like these children lost their parents, keep a room for them, and that's their life now. That's their everyday. So yeah, it's wild, and I'm so happy I got to see the portrayal. I like was crying watching it because it's just I don't know. My mom would be devastated to lose me, and there are hundreds, if not thousands, of parents around this country in the world that have to deal with that. So just so much respect for it.
Thank you.
Yeah, I guess my next thing I'll just end with this is what was the most fun time you had while making this? Because I know it's a really
I know.
sad topic, but I mean, Steve, he's known as a good news guy. So I'm curious, did you have fun while making this at all?
We did have fun, and the fun was a lot of times with the parents that
Hmm.
we met, the parents who lost children. And the fun was looking especially at old pictures and videos of their children and um, just laughing together and celebrating the life that their child had. We did laugh and have fun and share that. And we become friends with, all the parents, and we see them regularly at screenings and other
Amazing.
things. And they're going to come to the Oscars with us.
Oh,
Uh,
that's awesome.
and
Congrats on your nominee, by the way.
yeah, thanks. That's really just so good for the cause.
Hmm.
And so yeah, that's probably been the most fun.
That's awesome. Yeah. I'm curious, did you come into parents or families not wanting to be involved at all?
Yeah, I mean, some families didn't respond.
Hmm.
I don't know if I would have responded, honestly, if I was, God forbid, in that situation. Uh, and some families didn't save the room. Some of them responded differently and packed the room up right away.
Hmm.
I think everyone has a different way of interfacing with grief. And the families that participated in the film, there were four of them, they wanted to show the room and to find a way for their child to be remembered. And that was why they wanted to participate. And so we shared that common goal with them. That we wanted to share their child with the world so that people know and see the impact that guns are having on our country.
And you really did. I mean, partnering with Netflix, that's the biggest way to show people. It's just one of the easiest ways for people to be able to access this. So I'm curious, how did you get connected with Netflix for this?
Yeah. So that was, we made the film independently, and we, a little bit before our Telluride premiere, which was last fall, we, Netflix showed a strong interest in the film, and right around Telluride, they announced that they wanted to acquire it. And for us, that was the best news we could have ever imagined, because we made the film so that it would be seen. We made the film to create change. We made the film to wake people up. And, to be on a platform like Netflix that reaches so many people was just the perfect thing for this film.
It's amazing. Yeah, it has such a reach now, and I'm so thankful to have found it and to be able to share it now.
Thank
Uh,
you.
so yeah, thank you so much for meeting with me. It's an honor to meet you and share this, and I can't wait to go to the exhibit tomorrow. Yeah, just thank you so much.
Thanks, Grant. I really appreciate you showing interest in it and giving us time to talk about it.
Of course, as young people, we need to be as vocal as ever. So I'm really excited to share this.
Amazing. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Have a great weekend, and congrats on the Oscar and nominee, and good luck.
Okay. Stay
Awesome.
in touch. Okay.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.